Please welcome to the stage, Allison Moon. All right.
Thank you. It's actually funny, in Girl Sex 101, I do call it the cul-de-sac of love. Yeah, because it is. It's a cul-de-sac. There's a little bit of extra room up there to turn around if you need to. I'm not an exhibitionist. I just enjoy having sex in front of large groups of people. Allow me to explain. I'm a sex educator, as Dixie mentioned, and part of my passion and love for sex education is not only giving real information and solid sexual information to people, it's also role modeling for people what's possible around sex. And part of this means that I often like to be able to use my body and my sexuality, which I'm very comfortable with, to let people know that things are okay, that you can kind of help process some of that shame and some of that anxiety that so many of us grow up with. And I think that watching people have sex, watching real people have connected real intimacy in a real space, whether it's a play party or a sex class, is really healthy and really helps undo a lot of that bad programming we've grown up with. And I feel like it's a gift that I can share by being comfortable with myself. And part of the thing is that I don't necessarily like everything or do everything, but when I find something that I do like, I kind of want to spread the gospel, you know? Yeah. For instance, a couple years ago, 2007, I was at Camp Beaverton on the playa at Burning Man. Yes, get ready for those of you who are going. It's an amazing adventure. It was the inaugural year, and I was there kind of tending the camp, and this really beautiful person kind of walks up to me and starts asking questions about the camp. And as they're talking to me, I'm having this moment of, like, I know this person. Where do I recognize them from? And I can't figure out what it is. And we're talking, I'm answering questions, and we're going back and forth, and then all of a sudden it dawns on me, like, this image of this person just coming like a fire hose all over their partner's face. And I realize it's from a porno that I've seen called Crash Pad. Any Crash Pad enthusiasts in the room? Yes. So, and this person that is talking to me is Jiz Lee. Yes. Jiz Lee is San Francisco's genderqueer porn star darling, and I am talking to them, and I am crushing on them really hard. And we hit it off, and we end up spending the night together, and it's wonderful. And then the next morning, we decide we want to hook up again, and so we commandeer a New Sweeties minivan so we can have a dust-free experience together. And so we're having sex in the back of this minivan, and it's really yummy and wonderful. And I'm on top of them, and I'm like fingering them, and they ask if I can add some more fingers. And of course I can, absolutely, happy to accommodate. So I have like one finger, and it's lovely, and then 2 fingers, and it's delightful, and then 3 fingers, and it's sexy, and then 4 fingers, and I'm really, really having a good time. And they ask, would you be willing to give me your whole hand? Now, as a sex educator, I know the mechanics of fisting. However, I had never actually done it myself. So I'm like in A student mode where I'm like, okay, first you take the 4 fingers and you tighten them as tightly as possible together. And you make them like a narrow little like arrow of love. And then you take the thumb and you fold it as far as humanly possible across your palm and tuck it in, and you're making your hand as narrow as possible. I know these steps. This is as far as I've ever gotten before. So I have my fingers inside of them, and I start putting pressure on their vagina, and I kind of do the easing in, the kind of like, and we get to the first hardest part. What is the first hardest part? It is the knuckles. The knuckles are the first hardest part, because that is the widest part of the hand. So I get to the knuckles. We both take some breaths. I check in with them. They're doing well. We're fine. We're happy. Okay, yes. Okay. All systems go. So I do, up, into, and then we get to the second hardest part. The second hardest part is the thumb knuckle. So we get there, and it's going, and finally I'm all the way inside. And they say, would you make a fist? And I say, yes, I will make a fist. And so I tuck my hand into a fist, And I have the single most profound physical experience I've ever had having sex with somebody. I feel like I imagine cis guys get when they have such an important part of their body enveloped inside somebody else's body. It is deep, it is profound, it is beautiful. It is the most intimate thing I've ever felt, and I am hooked. I am hooked on fisting. Boys and girls, this is how Allison Moon fell in love with fisting. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Whew. All right, so flash forward a couple years. I've moved to Oakland from Los Angeles, and Jiz and I are still really good friends, and they invite me to their 30th birthday party. I'm like, oh, yay, a party. I read the invitation to the party, and it is a live-streamed orgy at the crash pad. Now, I had done a lot of performative sex before. I've been in sex shows, I've been in orgies, I've done in like demo modeling for classes before. That's not weird for me, but porn was one of those things I just haven't really fully committed to like wanting to do. I still had some reservations about it. I love people who do porn, I just wasn't quite sure if I was the one to do it. But I'm like, okay, well, if this is gonna be like a 30-person orgy, like I can disappear, I can be an orgy extra, you know? Like I'll be in the background making out with somebody, no big deal, right? I can hide in the crowd. So I go to the party, and like any porn set, it's like a lot of standing around awkwardly in your underwear waiting for things to happen. So we're like waiting for the tech people to start, and I'm like in my underwear in the kitchen, like eating carrot sticks awkwardly with other people. And I'm trying to figure out like how I can play. Like most of my friends who are there aren't in the mood to play. And so I'm like, but I want to participate. Like this is Jiz's birthday. I want to like give him a gift, you know? And so Jiz gets the party rolling by going into the bedroom and giving 30 blowjobs around the bed. And I'm like, okay, so I like poke my head in and I watch the blowjobs, it's really hot. And then this like small man kind of like sidles up next to me. And we start chatting, and he's lovely. And he says like, do you want to play? And I say, actually, yeah, that'd be great. What do you want to do? And he said, well, how do you feel about getting fisted? At this point, I had never been fisted before, but he's small. And so I'm like, so I do the thing that you should always do when somebody wants to fist you, which is show me your hands. So he holds up his hand in the international symbol for you totally want this is fine. And he's small, he's a small trans guy, and his hands are not that much girthier than my primary partner's penis. I'm like, oh, we'll be fine, we can totally do this. So we find ourselves on the bed, and the sex is already happening, so the bed is like covered in people. There are like 15 people at least on this bed with other people around the bed having sex. And so we find ourselves like a nice little sliver of bed where I'm like kind of scoot in, and he grabs a glove and some lube and puts it next to me, and then I sidle off my panties and scurry on the bed, and he kind of kneels in front of the bed in front of me. And I relax into it, and he starts, you know, rubbing my vulva and touching me and warming me up, and it feels really nice. And he puts a finger inside, and it's lovely. And he puts 2 fingers inside. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. And he puts 3 fingers inside. I'm like, oh, this is nice. This feels sexy. And then he puts 4 fingers inside. I'm like, oh right, sensation. Sensation's about to happen. Okay, right. So I'm like, okay, here we go. So I have to go to my happy place, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna close my eyes, lean back, just start breathing. Breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. Right? Ignoring the fact that there are a lot of people in the room, cameras and shit. Like, I'm just ignoring it all. Just breathe and relax. And he puts pressure on my vagina, and I feel it ease in those first 4 knuckles, and it's just that on that edge of pleasure and terror of like, oh wow, things are stretching. Oh, right, it's what the vagina's supposed to do. The vagina is designed to stretch, you'll be fine. Okay, breathe and relax, breathe and relax, breathe and relax. And he eases his 4 fingers in, and I can feel his knuckles go in, and then I can feel his thumb go in, and it is a lot of sensation, and I'm just breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. I'm in my happy place. I'm somewhere on the beach. Feels good, quiet, warm. And he moves his hand into a fist, and he says, it's in. And I open my eyes, and I look down at him, and his face is kind of pink and sweaty, and he's smiling. And I smile at him, and then I see a camera right over his shoulder. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're shooting a porno! Oh my God. So there's my pussy on camera, live streaming to your home. Okay, well, breathe and relax, we're fine. Everything in me clenches. And I feel like my partner's like a monkey in one of those monkey traps now, because his fist, and he can't let go. He can't undo the fist, and he can't move his hand out. You are stuck. We are in this together now. I'm like, okay, breathe. All right, we're fine. This is beautiful. This is educational. This is good. And I look at the bed, and I look at all the happy, sexy people having happy, sexy sex next to me. And I see this woman. She's lying in the opposite direction on the side of the bed from me, and so our heads are right next to each other. And she's beautiful, and I smile at her, and she smiles at me, and I reach out my hand to her, and she grabs my hand, and we hold hands. And she's getting fucked, and I say, okay, go for it. And so my partner starts kind of moving, and I feel everything, my cervix, my G-spot, everything is just alive. I feel his hand inside my entire body. It feels this deep enveloping of sensation. I feel like this person is inside me, deeper than anyone's been inside of me, and I'm like, oh my God, fisting is awesome! It's awesome! And so it's beautiful and lovely, and I'm closing my eyes, and I'm enjoying the sex, and I'm making noises, and then I open my eyes again, and I ground on him. There he is, and there's that camera. Hey, guys. Okay. And now I see the second camera is trained on my face. So now the only two cameras for the live stream are all up in my business. And I'm like, well, if I didn't want to be in porn, now's not the time to decide. And so I'm like thinking, well, I'm a sex educator, right? Like, I believe in the profound experience that can happen when you watch people have truly connected sex. So what can I do right now that can communicate to those random people in Des Moines or wherever that this is beautiful and good, and maybe they might want to try this too? And so I try and channel all the feelings that I'm having in my groin, and I move them up to my face, right? Like, so I start giggling, I start flinching, I start moaning, I start screaming, I start crying a little bit. I start letting my face show every emotion that I possibly can about the experience that I'm having right now, just in hopes that somebody sees that and can communicate with that and can relate to that no matter how far away in the world they are in geography or in experience, right? Thank you, yeah. And it's wonderful and it's beautiful. It feels so healing for me, and it's really great. So after that, I'm back in the kitchen. We've all, cleaned up and hugged. And I'm in the kitchen in my underwear eating carrot sticks again, less awkwardly than before. And a camera roams around and asks us to kind of give Jiz some birthday wishes. And so I look into the camera and I say, Jiz, you were the first person I ever fisted, and it was one of the most profound sexual experiences of my life. And now here at your 30th birthday, I got fisted for the first time. And I want to say thank you for letting me have this experience, and I love you, and I love this. Thank you.